Melissa, and today I'll be the person taking you through this presentation slash demonstration on how to use ArchiCAD for interior design. And as Sybil has already introduced as well, we have Sandra today helping us with answering questions as well. So please feel free to ask any question. I will get to the ones that are more relevant to the content that I'm showing, but if you have more general questions, also feel free to ask them, and we'll try to get to you the questions. So just a quick preview of today's timetable. Actually, to wait and a little bit of technical issues, we're already a bit late, but don't worry, this is just very brief. I'll be more flexible to shuffle things. But basically, I will start with the introduction of Graphisoft, ArchiCAD, the company, a little bit of me and my company, and then we'll jump right into using ArchiCAD. So the basic navigation in ArchiCAD, where things are, and then we will have about an hour and 10 minutes of basic modeling. We will be, start looking at how to do walls, walls, floor finishes, because that's more relevant for interior design, some furniture, how to place them, and lights. And then we'll get about a 10-minute break where, you can just digest, go to the washroom. And then coming after the break, the second session, I'll show you how to, one of the details that we have already done in the file itself, just kind of deconstructing and showing you how it was built. Because of time limit, again, I won't be able to actually build the whole thing with such details, but since you have the file, you can open it up and then just kind of click around and look at how it was built and how to use the detail marker. And also I'll talk about scheduling, how to maybe, if you want, create some furniture schedule, lighting schedule, how the interactive schedule works in ArchiCAD. And lastly, we will just show you quickly also how to prepare for your documentation. After you have built your model, how do you actually, create these views to be placed in a layout, because in the end you would still need to be creating documentation, drawing packages, how you can use Publisher, how you can export 3D models if you need, because maybe you're doing renderings in some other software as well, and of course BIMX, which I'll talk about more later on. And towards the end, we'll have about hopefully 20 minutes of Q&A. If we need more time, we may extend a bit more, but that's roughly today's timetable. So I'll try to keep time, and yeah, let's start. So I'm just gonna actually not show my face anymore to save on the computer resource, but I'm here, so don't worry. And yes, so just quickly, there will be a recording at the end of this class that you can access, I believe, after you have finished the survey. So don't worry, you can definitely review the content of today's class. So also don't panic if you can't follow or you didn't get all the information. So let me just give you a super quick history of Graphisoft ArchiCAD. So Graphisoft was actually founded in Hungary in 1982, and subsequently ArchiCAD was actually started developing in 1984 with the concept of virtual building. So actually that's essentially what we refer to, or it's kind of the very beginning of BIM, what we're more familiar nowadays. So really it's not a brand new idea, but it was already kind of started development since then. And throughout the years, it keeps developing, it keeps evolving. And in 2007, it was acquired by the German Nemetschek Group, and it's what we see nowadays. And what exactly is BIM? For those who are not familiar with this, essentially it's it's short for Building Information Model, but also more we also sometimes refer to Building Information Management. Basically, the idea is this holistic approach to the creation and management of information of built assets. throughout its entire life cycle. So if you think about a building, it's not just a building, it's actually from the conception of a building, planning, designing for it, building it, constructing it, getting, estimations, schedules, and all sorts of documentation, to operating it, people start to use the building, managing it, and even towards the end of the life of the building, which is to demolish it. This is what we refer to as the building life cycle. And throughout this whole life cycle, a lot of data is generated. And these kind of information based on these data, obviously, would be analyzed and used. And if you imagine that we are able to harness already since the beginning all these data and use these data as information throughout the entire life cycle for different parties, different uses, like people, like the management of the building might be using information already that was created, for when it was being built. I mean, certain things for sure that there are information that we can reuse. So it's basically a very streamlined process where you don't need to recreate, or you can always reuse the information that was already done from before. Then this way, your work is more efficient. You don't need to be, looking for information everywhere. Everything comes from this model, quote unquote, this model, and everyone will have the same information. So it's really about putting the data and information in one source and have everyone, do their work based on this information and data. And as you can see at the bottom, these are kind of all the, well, not all, but some of the softwares that would help this kind of different uses and different stages throughout. So all these can be, ideally with an open BIM approach, they can all take information from the same model and work on it. So Graphisoft itself has to provide multidisciplinary solution, so not just architecture, although it was since at the beginning it was mostly for architecture, but nowadays it's very mature, and it provides also structural, you can create structural analysis models from it. You can do MEP, it's built in already, and also for construction documentation. So if you're using ArchiCAD, you're just not using only for architecture design, you do other structural MEP stuff as well. And actually today, I'm going to also show you how to use it for interior design. And within the Graphisoft, you will see also this ecosystem where, apart from building the model with ArchiCAD, you may also use as DDS-CAD for the MEP. And these tools are the ones where we refer to as authoring tools. But apart from building the model, creating those data, you will also can use BIM Cloud, where your model will be shared on this cloud server for collaboration. So different parties, not just from your company, but other people can also join in and have work on the same model in real time. And of course, there's also this sharing component with the BIMX. So BIMX is basically a tool where you can showcase your model along with presentations like your drawing packages, your schedules. It's all interactive. I'll show you later how it works. And also, you can also do some kind of like markup, I think coordination work, like you can measure in it and kind of send comments. So this is what the ecosystem includes. And of course, in terms of interoperability, ArchiCAD is not just ArchiCAD like PLN files. It's able to talk with a lot of different file formats. For example, DWG, no issues. If you use Rhino, 3DM, if you use SketchUp, PDF, all that stuff, you will be able to read, and for some of them also write these file formats out. So you don't really have to worry too much about, oh, if I use ArchiCAD, will I still able to work with my other tools that I use a lot? The answer is yes, because the most commonly available formats are here, and you should be able to also use them. So this is just, a quick screenshots of millions of buildings done. So this is just all designed with ArchiCAD. So definitely all sorts of scale of building can be done, no issues at all. Today we'll look into the interior design scale. So yeah. And just super quickly about me. So I'm Melissa, and I mainly take care of the architectural design and BIM management at my office, the company that I work at, Enzyme APD from Hong Kong. And Enzyme ourselves, the main thing about us is that we leverage technology and smart workflows to deliver our projects in different size and scale and scope. So, for example, architectural urban planning, interior design projects, and when I say leverage technology, we are very keen on using smart workflows, for example, computational design or let's call parametric design with Rhino and Grasshopper. And we also develop further enhance our workflow by developing like maybe GDL or Python scripts for these kind of workflows. So if you're also interested in that kind of thing, feel free to visit our website and contact us if you want to find out more. Okay, so sorry for all this mostly text, not not well, I'll now start jumping into the ArchiCAD, but just as a preface of this class, because I mean, we have also heard a lot saying that, oh, ArchiCAD is not really for interior design, yada yada. I mean, it's true, it wasn't really designed for it, but I think two things. One is that a lot of the tools actually can be utilized for the purpose, even though it's not exactly one-to-one, but the tools are there and the functionality is essentially the same. So I think why don't we get creative and just start using them the way it would help us, right? And secondly, it's more about improving the process, because I have also worked at other companies where we don't use any kind of BIM and we were doing interior design projects, and the process is just very disconnected. Traditionally, we would have some 3D model on the side, like a SketchUp, and then we do the 2D documentation on another software. And then lastly, project data, maybe like schedules, things like that. You use another software for that. So everything is kind of disconnected in a sense. And any kind of changes, update, you have to, once you update a model, you have to go to the 2D to update the 4 elevations and then also update it in the project data. And it's just, duplication of work and double handling information. So similar to how we would build buildings with BIM, why don't we use this for interior design as well? Essentially, it's the same idea, right? You have a 3D model and you extract 2D information, documentation from it. You also get the data directly from the model. So in the end, the concept is similar. So I just hope that maybe not all tools are 100%, streamlined or whatever, but I just hope that you at least get this concept and you start your journey onto discovering all these way to do things more automated, and maybe you will find even other ways of using the tools that helps your work, and not exactly the way I show you, but I just want to at least give you some ideas of how you could also look for these kind of solutions. Okay, so this is basically what we are going to be looking at. Of course, again, I'm not going to be doing all of this design, all of this modeling. This is the final product that we have also shared with you. If you open let me just see. Sorry, not brick yet. Sorry, not brick yet. Sorry, it's a bit slow. This slide thing. Okay, so if you should already have received this folder from me. That we have some PDFs. Okay, it's a documentation of the package. So finally, from the finished model, you will see that you can extract all these documentation. There's two files, one with called working.pla. This is the one that we will use and just try out to build stuff. The final one is the completed model. So don't worry if you can't model, if you didn't finish anything, you can just open this file and check how it was done. And lastly, the BIMX, I'll show you later as well. Okay. So for the first part, you can already open this working PLA file. So actually, let me just close mine. I was opening it. I'll open it together with you. Okay. So it's this file, working.pla. So let me just double click. I'm working in a Mac environment. So if you're working in Windows, it should look similar. If there's any things that you can't find, let me know. But when you first open up .pla, because it's an archive format, meaning it contains all the library parts we wanted you to have. So for now, you can just read directly from the archives. Then you will have all the library available without placing it in your computer. So just choose the first option and click open. Usually when you're working, you don't really work with PLA, you work with PLN, where the library parts is either in your computer or in the company software. But because I wanted to share with you also the library parts, that's why I sent you a PLA. And depending if you have loaded some add-ons, I did, so it's missing now, but don't worry, we're not using this. So just click OK if this window pop up for you. Okay, so once you open the file, you should see this. Okay, and I'm just gonna give you a quick overview of the ArchiCAD interface. But the very first thing I want you to do, if you do have the file open, is to go and just so we have the exact same UI, go to Options and Work Environment and Apply Profile. If you could pick the second option, Architectural Profile 26. Okay. Options, Work Environment, Apply Profile, Architectural Profile 26. This is where you can basically, it will apply this profile where the UI will be just a few tools on top. So because I can't see your screen, so just making sure that what you see is also what I see, where the tools are. So if you could just set it to this one, Architectural Profile. So this is the UI we will be using. So very quickly, the interface of ArchiCAD, you'll see this, well, on the very top is the menu bar. Okay, you find all the tools you need on top. If you're using Mac, you can search for the specific tool and then it will point you to where it is. And then the second row, we kind of have this toolbar. Toolbar. Today we'll only be using probably 2 of these tools, but as you keep going, you may have more tools that you want to use more often, then you can put them here as well. So it's up to you to customize this toolbar. Then the next one I want to talk about is this on the left is the toolbox. So you can already see all these icons, and actually if you click on the side and pull it out, it will have the name of the tool, and it's more clear if you are beginners. Basically, this is where you start using these tools for building, like walls, columns, and all that stuff, okay? Today we'll be, mostly using just the first view, and I'll quickly talk about the viewpoint stuff. But so the first part is about these designing tools. The second viewpoint is about creating viewpoints, like sections, elevations. And the last part is about the tools for doing annotations, like if you want to do dimensions, if you want to do annotations. So these are the tools that you can use. Okay, so if you click open or close these, you can see more or less. And in the middle, of course, is your, model view. Right now, I'm on a floor plan view. Later on, we will go to a 3D view. So and on the right, this is the navigator. Again, if you click on the side and drag it open, you will see more of it. And very quickly, I want to talk about these 4 buttons. These 4 buttons, to me, essentially is the kind of the entire process of doing the entire workflow in a nutshell, from left to right. Okay, so the first one is called the project map. The project map basically contains all the viewpoints of in ArchiCAD. What viewpoints are is essentially points of looking at your model. So imagine a building. How would you start looking into it? I mean, from the outside, from the inside. One point of view, of course, is the different floor plans. So under stories, this is all our different floors, okay? And you can also cut sections, cut open a building, and you can look into the inside of the building through sections. You can have elevations to look at certain exterior face of a building. I'm still just talking about buildings. So these are what the viewpoints are. So we already have a few sections cut, so that's why they are available here. And if you click on it, then you will see the kind of the section of the part of the project. Okay. So these are tabs that you can just navigate between different viewpoints. And apart from viewpoints, you can also have 2D drawings. For example, 2D drawings, but 2D drawings in the sense that it's used for working, right? So actually, if I click on the first worksheet, so this worksheet doesn't really contain any 3D information. As you can see on the left, it's all grayed out. But it's great for doing drafting, for example. Like these are just lines and stuff. So if you maybe start out a project with some kind of concept, or you have just a rough layout and you just want to quickly test out, or if you receive some simple drawings from others that you want to trace over, you can use the worksheet. You can place the CAD from other parties, put it in, and kind of do a trace over. And this could also be how you start transforming a 2D drawing into a 3D model. So in the floor plan, you just show this as a trace and start building it. So I'll show you how to do this later, but this is essentially how you could use a worksheet and what worksheets are. And of course, you can create details. So if I double click here, again, I'll talk about this more in detail in the second part, but you see you can start creating 2D details of certain parts for your project, and even some kind of 3D documents. These are all coming from your 3D model, so you don't need to redraw any kind of axonometric or perspective drawings, as long as you have it built in your model. And of course, you can look at your model in a 3D view, so the perspective view. If you want to, in the 3D view, you can zoom in using your scroll wheel. You can pan by clicking and holding on the scroll wheel. And if you want to rotate, you can click Shift and hold Shift and also hold your middle wheel, and you'll be able to rotate. So we'll be doing this a lot in today's class, just checking out the model that you have built, okay? etc. So this is a project map. This is where you can start kind of like different ways of looking at your model. And the second part is called the view map. Basically, if you imagine, right? So I have a floor plan, okay? But interior design projects or other projects, you don't only show one plan for your project. You need to show different information from on the same floor. For example, you will have just general arrangement plans, okay? Then you have electrical plans where you want to show maybe the outlets and or information about electrical stuff. You have ceiling plans, okay? So how do we get, different versions of these plans, but from the same model? That's when we can use views where we are able to filter out information. So for example, so these fields we already defined for you, so you can start checking the settings. What kind of settings could help? Basically, we can do so by using layer combination. So imagine I have furniture. Oh, okay. Imagine I have furniture on the furniture layer. I don't need to show it. Maybe I don't need to show it in the electric or in the ceiling. So for these plans, I would turn them off and only show them on the plan. Okay. For lighting fixtures, I don't need to show it on the plans, but maybe I need to show it in the ceiling plan, for example. So this is how you can build just one model with everything, okay, and extract different filtered, plans from the same model by just doing a filter of information. So you don't need to be putting side by side, copying, pasting. Oh, I need to do 3 plans of different things. So I need to copy this to the next and do the electric and copy this again to do the ceiling, for example. So with views, you are able to turn on and off things, set even different scales, because of course I'm not only showing scale at this plans at this scale. I will actually be starting looking at bigger scales of details and stuff like that. So this is how you can utilize the views. And thirdly, once you are done with your views, you can put them in a layout. Okay, so of course you will be creating drawing packages, so you can start composing your drawing packages. As you can see, I placed the different plans on each layout. I even rotated them because it fits better. But basically, these all come from the same model, just different views. Okay. And once you have created all these layouts, you can use the publisher to create them in one go. So you can just quickly publish PDFs and DWG, the most common formats that you will need to publish in. And you are only, so this is how you can create, quickly publish things with the publisher. You can also export BIMX and all that stuff with the publisher. Okay. So this is the navigation in ArchiCAD. So mostly today we will be actually just navigating in the view map because we already save all the views for you, so it's very easy to navigate. Mostly we will look at this plan's proposed ground floor and a few at the end of the list, a few of these worksheets that we will be using to help you just to start modeling. We'll look at some schedule as well, and that's it. Okay, so let me see if there's some quick questions that I can get to. Otherwise, I'm gonna start the modeling part. This is okay, I think this for now. Yeah, mostly it's about 25, right? I did not prepare for files to be opening in ArchiCAD 25. But I will try. I will definitely share one after class for 25. So if you don't mind, just look at my screen, or you can open 25 anyways, because again, the tools are very similar. It's for me, if you could just start clicking and looking at, you know, the tools itself is already enough. You don't really need to actually build exactly in this model. Okay, so let's start. So very quickly, I have shown you already, right? Here. So today what we will actually be modeling, okay, or I'll actually show you is, this is the final model, but I'll just mostly be showing you this wall over here, okay? But what I'm demonstrating is how you can maybe create some kind of stud wall. But don't focus on only using this workflow to create a stud wall. You can actually use the similar, tools and similar things to create, for example, the countertop that I will talk about in the second part. Get creative, okay? Don't be stuck with just using these tools for this. So I'll talk about this wall. I'll talk about how to place some of these furniture from out of the box ArchiCAD objects. So after class, you can start placing your own if you're interested. I'll talk about some lights as well. You don't see the lights here, okay? And I'll talk about floor finishes, okay? So this is about what I'm gonna talk about. So if you look at the file now, actually it's quite empty, but because I don't wanna confuse you. But this is essentially what you should have in the first working file. So you see this wall is not here, so I'm gonna start building it. Okay, so walls in ArchiCAD. So if you could go to this plans proposed ground floor, and look at these walls that we have along this side, you can already see that we have built kind of a stud wall system, right? With kind of a sandwich, two pieces of gypsum board, and maybe a custom section profile here. So how do we do that? Basically, we started by building a wall first, okay, and then also added these sections later on. So for walls in ArchiCAD, let me see. Sorry, I keep having this thing that's blocking me. Okay. So in walls in ArchiCAD, there are three types of structure in terms of walls. There's the basic wall, there's the composite wall, and there's the complex profile wall. So for basic wall, essentially it means that it's just using one type of building material. And you can check that, for example, the shape of the room, we have used just the basic wall because we don't need further information for now. We just need to know kind of the layout of the room. So we just use a very basic wall. But then if you look at this, where I started to give more layers to the wall, because I do have an air gap and then I have two pieces of board, for example, I'm using the composite wall, okay? The composite wall, if you also just right click on this wall and select edit selected composite / profile, okay, right click and edit selected composite profile, it will show you what's the composite wall and what are the layers in this composite wall. So this is the wall that we are using. You will see that we have defined the first layer, which is a gypsum board that is 12.5 mm thick. Then we have a layer of 75 mm air gap. And lastly, we have this board again that is 12.5 mm thick. So by using a composite wall, instead of building, 3 times, like or 2 times, building a wall, building the board and then build another board on the other side, I can just build once with this, and that's it. It will give me 3 layers of materials already. And if I have to, for example, for some reason, edit the composition of this wall, like if I need to insert 1 more layer of gypsum board because it needs to be stronger, then as long as so for all the walls that are using this composite wall will be updated. So if I just click OK, now of course you still need to move a bit the sticks that you previously modeled, but you will see that this will be automatically updated. Okay. It may look a bit weird now because we didn't really take care of the outside face, the reference line itself, the outside face, inside face. But the idea is that being parametric in this sense, you are able to edit things easily as long as you are, if you're organized, right? Like, for example, this is type A gypsum drywall system. The other one is type B. So you would use this composite for type A and the other one type B. And you will be able to edit quickly the composition of these walls and have them updated, reflected in the model. So this is essentially what composites are. If I go back to editing this, so now I realize I don't need this layer anymore. So I just remove it and click OK. Then all the walls that uses this will be updated. Okay. So this is essentially what a composite wall is. So we can actually start already try to model it. Okay. So why don't you also use a trace reference? So 2 things, okay? Depending on your workflow, we can just start by drawing a wall. If you know the dimensions, for example, you know how far this is, or then you can just draw directly. We can also use a trace reference, which is very helpful. So how do you use trace reference? While I'm still on this floor plan, okay, I'm still on ground floor, okay, I'm not going anywhere else. I would right click on this worksheet, the first one, 01 planning, zoning plus wall type. I will right click on it because I want to show this worksheet as a trace reference. So I show as trace reference, click. Then it will overlay that worksheet in my current view, which is my ground floor. So what it does is that it will show almost like when you're using a trace, okay? And because the worksheet, everything is aligned, I can just start following these lines to draw in my new wall. Okay, so this is to demonstrate if you do receive maybe a sketches in CAD from other disciplines, or your colleagues just did some CAD and want you to model it. This is how you can use the worksheet as a trace reference to model things. So why don't we start building? So let's click on the wall, and to save time, I have already created a bunch of favorites for you guys to use. Favorites is basically presets, like of elements. So you don't need to do all the settings. And to access these favorites, you just need to, if you hover over this arrow, you will find the favorites that I have prepared. But it shouldn't be in this folder. Actually, it should be in, the ArchiBIM interior folder. If you just go back to the very top, the ArchiBIM interior folder. So if you double click, then you will see that there is 2 walls I have done for you guys. So why don't we start with the wall internal timber stud? Actually, I will show, I'm gonna display this as in large icons, so you can see it more clear what exactly they are. Wall internal timber stud. So if you just double click it, and it will, you see the settings up here, it will automatically update to the settings that was set from this favorites. If you are not able to somehow open this favorite palette, you can also go to Windows, Window, Palettes, Favorites, okay? Window, Palette, Favorites. So this will give you all the favorites that is available regardless of the tool. So you see, actually we'll be using this today as well. In this folder, all the favorites will be available, like from the slab tool, from the column tool, from objects as well. Okay, so we're just using this. You can also open this, the favorite palettes, and just double click on this wall. Am I muted? I'm not muted, is it? Can you hear me? Okay, sorry. All right. Yes, there will be recording after the class, so don't worry. Double click now. Okay, then we can start drawing. So let's see. Let me just start from this point to here and to here to finish it. So I'm just going to start from here. Click, one click. Okay, start. And then a second click. You will also see that there's this kind of blue dotted line. It basically helps you snap to either orthogonally or towards certain angles that you can set, like maybe 45 degrees, 90 degrees. So it just really helps you to make sure that your model is also modeled very clean in a way. So the second click would be here. And you can continue to finish the wall over here. Click again and click again to complete the modeling. So you see already, this is what we want. So you don't need to, you no longer have to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines to create this wall, okay? So basically that's it. And then, now let's check this in 3D, why don't we, okay? So to go to the 3D, either you can click on one of these views that I have prepared, or you can right click and say show all in 3D. Just right click empty space and show all in 3D, or use the shortcut if you want. This is the Mac shortcut, and I'm not sure what the Windows is, but just use it if you see it. And you'll be able to see that there is the wall that we have just built. And actually, I want to bring your attention to this stud wall that actually is so dark because I have the roof. So I'm just gonna hide the roof. Yeah, okay, now you see it better. Because I turn on the shadow for this view. But anyways, you will see that what I was talking about, right? This sandwich wall system along with the studs. It's not wood stud, obviously, but to demonstrate that you can put studs in here. So actually what we're gonna model next is these studs, okay? But before that, just wanted to show you this wall end. Obviously it's weird. You're not gonna, in real life, you will probably patch it either with some kind of maybe metal pieces or I don't know, some kind of thing. So to fix this, I would just use the wrap end tool. So I don't need the trace reference anymore. So I'm just gonna turn it off. How to turn off the trace reference? If you see this icon up here, this is where you can turn it off and on. So if you just click, you will turn off the trace reference and it will not show anymore, okay? So what's the wrap end tool? Basically, as you can see here as well, now this is kind of open. So we can just use a wrap end tool to just add an additional piece towards the end of the wall. So if I double click and just click on this, then it will automatically apply a piece at the end. Okay, now why don't I just kind of, build a very thin wall and just do it? Well, because this actually have additional functions. Like you can actually maybe, if you have special design, you can have, there's like parameters that you can set. Or if you have more than one layer or two layers, you can also, control it better. So you can try to use this, see if it fits your need. So the wrap band tool is quite useful. And if we go back to the 3D now, you will see now I have used a metal piece to cover it. Okay. So it's called the wrap band tool. Yeah. Sorry, I was checking the questions. So then, as I said, I'm gonna start building the studs. So these studs, what are they? We are actually using the column tool for this. Okay. Instead of a wall, like imagine if you do a wall, you will have to draw a very thin one and create this kind of C shape. Okay, and it's not very ideal because imagine if you have to either change the size of this cross section, it will not apply to the rest, right? If it's just a very, let's say if it's just a very basic wall, right? If I just make it like, I don't know, 2 mm, if I do this, it's in its own wall. It's not really a parametric element that you can keep editing. What this is a column with a special cross section, specially shaped cross section. We call it complex profile, which if you remember, the wall also has. The wall structure also has. The complex profile can be applied to walls as well. But we're not using walls because walls are horizontal extrusions of that cross section, and columns are vertical extrusion of that cross section. Okay, so if I open up this complex profile, oops, sorry. Let me go back to the plan view. If I open up this complex profile, right click, again, use edit selected composite profile to check the cross section. If I open it, you will then see that how it was created. It's basically a cross section drawn with a fill. Okay, and the building material of that fill is metal. So that's why in 3D you see it has this metal finish looking, because the material we're using is steel, and this cross section will be extruded vertically. And as I was saying, if I do need to edit the size or the shape or the material of this cross section, again, let's say I increase it by 10, okay? And I save it, okay? So for all the sections that uses this complex profile will be updated. So now if I go up to my plan, you see, it will be updated. Now it's just moved because of the origin of the placement and all that stuff, but the idea is that you can then edit everything in one go instead of having to, again, copy paste. And you have better control as well. You can search for all the columns that uses this cross section, this complex profiles, do a filter and all that stuff, okay? Now let me just change it back because this is weird. So just gonna put this back. Save. Sorry. Okay. And if I go back to my floor plans, you will see that now it's back to what it should be. So how can we use this? Sorry, let me just delete this then. Okay. So how do we place these? Okay. So starting from scratch, let me just pick well, a favorite. Metal C-section. Yeah, this one. Metal C-section lift. I just double click. You will see that it's a column using this complex profile, custom, and that's it. I can start placing it. I just need to click, maybe here, okay, and you see that it's being placed like this. So if I click, if I press escape, usually when I'm done with placing stuff, I'll press escape. And because now I need to rotate it maybe this way. So I click on it and do a rotation and place it properly at this end. So let's say to move things in ArchiCAD, you use Control D Windows or Command D in Mac. So let me see. So I do Control Command D, click on the item, and then you can start putting them, moving it. Okay. So actually, sorry, escape. Command D, I need to put this at here. And to rotate is the Control E or Command E. So let me do E. Okay, you see this compass. I click on the rotation center and provide kind of a reference line start point. If you check the bottom left, you see it will give you hints on what to do next. So enter the rotation arc start point. Start point is here, and I just want to rotate it 90 degrees towards this way. Okay, so I can just rotate. So this is how I would place this stud. Then I actually need to make a few copy, right, till perhaps here, somewhere here. Maybe I'll add 1 or 2 more copy. So to do so, you can click on this and use a tool called multiply. So if you go to design, go to edit, move, there's this called multiply. And the shortcut is Command U or Control U, multiply. This tool is not only available for this, it's available everywhere, wherever, whatever tool you want to do a multiplication, or I guess you can call it array, you can use this tool and it's very handy. So for example, now we pick that we want to do a drag, which is move, and we want to be doing a distribution. Okay, I want to distribute maybe 2 more copies. So I put copies here too, along this way. Okay, so I tell it, oh, I want 2 more copies. Vertical displacement is 0 because I just want to do it horizontally. And that's it. The rest is we don't need this setting. So we just click OK. Basically, what it will do then, now I need to have a first reference point. So let's say, so I want the last piece, this point of the last piece to end here. So I'm gonna click on this point and just zoom out and place it here. And you see that 2 more copies is made, and the last piece, that point, will be placed here. So I just need to click, and it will help me put 2 more copies. So this is how you can use multiply to quickly do an array. And the good thing is you can preview it. So I think that's very handy. So let me do it again, but this time I'll do it this way. So to move an item, you can use Control or Command D, but now I want to make a copy while moving it. So depending on your shortcut again. Mine will be Shift Command D, like drag a copy. It's what it's called. Or you can check yours on your computer, edit, move, drag a copy. And it will make a copy while you're moving it. So let me just drag a copy. So let me see, I want this point to be placed here so that I can rotate it later. So I'm gonna click on this point and you see now I move it here and it will make a copy. So if you wanna make a copy of something and move it, you can use edit, move, drag a copy. Then I want to rotate, okay, because I wanna rotate the C to this side. So I just do Command E, rotate. Again, I'm gonna rotate from here. This is the starting point. Rotate 90 degrees. Okay. Then I'm gonna do multiply again. Basically, same thing. Edit, move, multiply, or you can use Command or Control U. Maybe this time I will put one, two, three more copies instead. So drag, distribute 3. Okay, instead of 2. And I will click OK. So it's gonna be about 1, 2, 3. It will distribute evenly. Yeah. OK. So again, I want this point to be the end. So I click on this and zoom out and make sure I snap the end point to this side. When you're moving things, again, you will see like a blue dotted line helping you to align your thing in orthogonally or in different angle. But you can also, if you want to be super sure that you're moving things diagonally, hold Shift and it will lock. It will lock it. Okay, hold Shift and it will lock to that direction. Lock to the orthogonal, I think 40 degree as well. Yeah, 45, but depends on your settings. Okay, so you just need to kind of go and then it will lock it. Okay, place, and that's it. Oops. Okay, good thing is, you see I made a mistake. It shouldn't be here, should be here. So good thing is once you have placed them, it selects the last copied item. So if it's wrong, you just click delete and do it again. Okay, Command U or Control U, 3 copies. I click on this point, move it to here. Okay, so that's basically how this was built, you know, with a composite wall and complex profiles for these walls. Okay, so let's check it in 3D quickly. If you go to the 3D view, and you may not see it because it was not built actually last time when we were using show all, but don't worry. You just need to add any place that is empty, right click, click show all again. Now, because I hide the roof before, so it will actually show the roof as well, but you can just hide selection again. So now you will see the newly built studs. So depend on your project, right? If you want to actually go into this kind of detail, but there are instances where knowing the location of these studs are important because maybe you need to know where or whereabout you can kind of hang your TVs or provide additional structure support for your TVs or things like that. So knowing or being able to build this kind of thing in the model already will help your design process. So again, you may or may not use this, but it's just demonstrating to you if you do want to build these kind of stuff, what are the tools available for you to do so and how it can be easily done in ArchiCAD. Okay, so I hope it's clear and I hope it's interesting. So actually, yeah, this part is done. And I wanted to just quickly show you as well what I mean when you're doing changes in the model, right? It can be reflected quickly and automatically in the drawing. Basically, now if I open up my office layout sheet layout, you will see that bam, that wall is already in here. Okay, how about elevations? If I go to A05, double click, bam, the wall is here. And any changes will be reflected immediately so that I don't need to go to the drawings and redo them again. Okay, so this part is the part for walls. Let me see if there is any burning questions. Download link, okay. Sibyl, would you be able to share the link that you sent with the participants? I do have a link, but I'm not sure if it's the same one that Sibyl was using. So I'm just gonna, if cannot be shared, then yeah, I will share mine in a bit. I just want to use the same link from Sibyl if it's possible. Okay. Yes, it's quite challenging to work without a mouse, especially if you're the person who is doing the modeling. So yeah, it would be ideal if you have a mouse. But if you are not the modeler and you are mostly working maybe or looking at the model, reviewing the model in BIMX, then you don't need a mouse because you will only need maybe an iPad and just look at the model and the product, give comments. So anyways, I'll show you that later on. Okay, so if there's no burning questions, then we can maybe move on to the next item, which is about floor finishes, okay? Anyways, I'm just showing this like a stud wall, but you can imagine if you do need to start doing maybe special finishes or special walls, you can use the same tools for the way I did it, okay? So the next is that we will talk about the floors. So again, make sure you are on the ground floor plan. And sorry. I now see a few more questions I can get to. Yeah, saving favorites. I'll show you later. I'll show you later how to save favorites, okay? In the Q&A. And the cap N, basically it's this, okay? So if I go here, I delete the cap N, delete. Basically, it's this this tool called the wrapped wall N. It's this tool here, wall N tool. The favorite I only provided one, and it's only one, you know, look. It's very basic. But if you go to the the other, sorry, and not this folder, but maybe the other folders with the wall ends. Sorry. I keep jumping around. There is, I think, other types of wall ends that you can use. So they have different shapes. How do I show it? Okay, maybe not in this file, but if you open a brand new ArchiCAD with the ArchiCAD provided template, then they should have a few more. But basically, it's just, yeah, a wall cap and tool that may have different profiles. But basically, click on it, select the favorite, and just click on one of the end of the wall, and it will automatically apply. Okay. La, la, la. If you don't have wall and show, I'm not sure. Sometimes the it may have to do with your work environment. Best is to use the default environment, because sometimes it's possible that your environment simply didn't show this tool in the toolbox. So what I would first do is check. If you don't see the tools, go to the work environment and select maybe one of the out of the box ones. Click on it and it should show all the default tools. If not, you may need to actually jump into the work environment settings and start adding those tools back. But I believe this should be available out of the box, because also I'm using the out of the box work environment. Yeah, profile 26, it should be there. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the next part, is about the floors. So, all right. Now, if you would open the second worksheet, this finishes. Now, sorry, I don't mean open. You stay on the ground floor plan, because I'm gonna use it as use the worksheet as the trace reference. So if I right click, show as trace reference, you see now I have different hatches indicating the different floor finishes. And so here, I would say the entire space except the tiles will be, let's say it's a final tiles. Let's say it's a wood pattern vinyl tiles, okay? And on top of the tiles, we will have these carpet laid on top of these tiles. So this area is carpet. And lastly, the wet area will just be tiles. So which tool we're gonna use? We're gonna use slab. Essentially, slab is just a flat piece of thickness, right? And it's not necessarily just for floors. You can use it for tabletops as well, but the idea is that it's just a flat piece of thing with certain thickness. So in this case, we're using the slab tool for finishes, for floor finishes. Similar to walls, but not so actually. It has the basic structure. Again, it's just one type of building material, or it can have a composite as well, which is basically, what I showed you before. You can have multiple layers of building materials within the same slab piece. You define the material itself, and you define the thickness and the order of the layer, and that's how you create composite slab. In this case, let me see what my favorite is like. I will be using this. So, okay, it is indeed a composite, but why is it composite? Let me see. So one way to check the content of this composite is, if you have already built it somewhere, you can use the method I did just now, which is to right click on that slab and edit. Or you can come here, options, attributes. This is where you can access all the different attributes in your project. And I want to be checking, this is a composite, so I will just go to the composites, click, and it will have the full list of composites that is in my project. Is also where we were just now. But this time I'm looking at FF Timber 01. So FF Timber 01, What is it? The top piece is a 25 mm wood laminate board, and this bottom is just an airspace, which is 125. So depending on what you need, I mean, why are we building an airspace? Well, that could be because sometimes you also, like what we did for the stud wall, right? You may have additional support or some kind of leveling system that you need to use. So you're just kind of building an air gap space. Either maybe you want to know later on how much volume of that that volume of that space is, in case you need to use it for some other calculations. Imagine if you have a raised floor system, right? It's not only maybe 100 mm, but maybe, I don't know, 200 or 300. So if you use this, then first of all, you will have a very precise control of this height. And second of all, if you do need to understand the volume of that space later on, because it's a building material, you can just extract, asking ArchiCAD, say, oh, how much of this air space I have in terms of volume in this project, and that's how you can get it in case you need it. Okay, so something like that. Of course, you may not also need this, but anyways, this is how it's set up in this project. You can use a composite with this and with a gap. Also, you may have just leave it for now because you may want to change this system later. Maybe later you're using either a different type of board that is either thicker or thinner, but you want to know roughly, but you know already roughly you need to reserve 150 for the finish for system. So it could just be a placeholder as well, right? So the total thickness of this for the finish floor you have reserved is 150. Maybe now you just presume that it's 25, later might be more, or you want to add more layers in between. But at least at least you already have in mind that the reserve is 150. So this is also another reason to use composite sometimes, is as some kind of placeholder as well. Okay, so anyways, so we are going to use this. So basically how you draw a slab is you double click it and you just start drawing. So let's say we want to draw, well, I'm not going to draw the entire thing because I'm going to show you how to edit it. But let's say, okay, I'm going to start here in this corner, and there are multiple methods to how to draw the slab, but maybe I'll just use this first, is polygonal method. Basically, I just kind of click, 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 click on the different points, and I close the polygon, and then a slab will be visible. So let me just start clicking the different points. Let's say here, here. Be careful if you need to snap to different things. I'm just going to draw it within the inside of the wall. Here, probably it should be somewhere along this line and even go through here, but I'm just going to go here somewhere, okay? So I just wanted to close this polygon first. So I'm going to come over here, I don't know, somewhere here, and go back to the starting point and click again, and it will be built. Now, my trace reference is in my way, so I'm just going to turn it off. Okay. Once I turn it off, I want to select the slab. So I'm just going to press Escape because I'm still in the slab tool. Press Escape. And then now if you hover the mouse, it will show that there is a slab here. So I can just click on it. And this is what I have built. Obviously, this is not right. Like I still need to continue all the way here. But this is because I now want to show you how to edit once you have built something. We can also just quickly look at it in 3D. If I right click, show all in 3D. And if I zoom into this, oh, wait, why is there already a finish? Sorry guys, I didn't realize that maybe the file I give you already has a floor finish. But okay, I'm just gonna delete it because it's not what I want. Okay, so this should be the one that you have just built. Okay. Sorry, I'm checking the. So this is what I built, and I'm gonna show you guys how to edit it. But I just saw some questions on how to show that floor finishes plan. It's actually a worksheet that I show as trace reference. So again, I was on this ground floor, okay, and I would go to the bottom of the list because I placed the view there. The second worksheet finishes. Instead of going into the opening the worksheet, I right click and just click show as trace reference. Then you should be able to see the content of this sheet shown as a trace while you're on the ground floor plan. Okay, so actually I can also open just to show you what's in it. Basically, it's just fills with the different hatches. So they're not in 3D whatsoever. It's just a quick sketch that I did for the purpose of tracing. Okay, so I need to go back to my floor plan where I built my model. So plans proposed, ground floor, GF, and have the second worksheet, planning finishes, show as trace reference. That's how I see the content of this trace. Okay. So if I turn off the trace, because now I want to edit this piece, okay, then I can do so by two ways. One is click on the node. The second is to click on the edge to bring up what we call a pet palette. So in that case, let me show you first. For example, if I want to extend this edge till the end, I can click on the edge and it will bring up a pet palette looking like this. You can move it around if it's in your way by click and holding the left of the palette and move it to where you are and release. So this is the edge. So you click on the edge, it will show a pet palette. And these are the editing options, okay? So now I can maybe select the offset edge option. And that's when I can pull it to the end, give it a click, and it will extend my slab. Okay, if I do it again, let me click on an edge. You have to select the slab first, click on an edge, and then move your mouse to the edge and click again. Okay, so this is how you can edit whatever you have placed. But of course, two things. One is I don't want this piece here, right? This should be the wall, and then I remove it for the tiles. And also, I don't want it here. Doesn't make sense. It should be out of the boundary of the space. So what can I do? I can then, this time, I can maybe click on the node and have the pet palette shown. And this time, I'm going to use a tool called Subtract from Polygon. Actually, this tool is available even if you click on the edge. Okay, it's this, Subtract from Polygon. But as you see, if I click, the options are a bit different depending on if you click on the node or the edge. So as you get more familiar with ArchiCAD, it will be kind of like an instinct of where you want to click to access what editing option. But anyways, I'm just demonstrating that if you click on a node, this option is available for both, and which is the subtract from polygon. So I want to subtract this side, okay? So I click on subtract from polygon, and then I can just basically draw this and it will remove it. So how can I draw it? I can, again, click 4 times, or since it is just a rectangle, right? I can use the second tool, rectangular method, and click 2 times, 1 time here, the other time just outside, and it will create already a rectangle. So I click once here and zoom out, and my mouse goes outside. I just need to make a bigger rectangle from this side, and whatever area it covers, it will remove it. Okay, so click. So this is how you remove this area from the slab. Okay, so if we actually go to the 3D and click on the floor, you see now this is subtracted. Okay. And I can also look from outside because I think, yeah, it's a glass. Yeah, you see? Okay, so there's no more slab here. And I'll show you again how to do it, but this time on this side. So I first select the slab that I want to edit. I click on the node, and similar, I can just use the second geometry method, 2 clicks, and remove this part of the slab. So this time I'm gonna click on this corner, and the second click would just be outside because I just want to remove this thin strip, and escape. Okay, so now for sure, no finishes will be would not be in the other room. Okay. Now you may ask, how come I didn't subtract from this side? This is still, I mean, it's a column and technically we don't put finish floor on there. But if you look into the 3D, actually, it's already subtracted. So let me just hide this curtain wall to show you better. I right click and hide selection, hide this curtain wall. Now, if I click on this slab, you will see that actually the reference line is here. The blue reference line is here, as shown in the 2D as well. But you also see a thick green line indicating that, in fact, there's no finished floor within the column. And this is because there's this thing called building materials in building material priority in ArchiCAD. So if I select both of these elements and I go to options, building materials, okay, it will highlight all the materials that are used in the selected elements, which is wood laminate board, concept, yada yada, and I don't know. Okay, so if I just click on the top, it will bring all the ones that are in this elements, and you can see that I believe, yeah. So the concept existing is the building element of this column, and the wood laminate board and the airspace is these two. This is stronger than these two. As you can see, intersection priority. So that's why you see it's 900, the rest is only 800. So that's why it's gonna subtract, like it's gonna, when they intersect, it's gonna automatically remove itself from this intersection. So in that sense, you don't need to actually, like what I did, do a subtraction of this. So this is, so when would this be handy, right? Well, if you maybe realize once you went on site that this column is actually smaller, right? Or it's a different size, you just have to adjust this, and whatever was there, well, you remove it and it will just kind of adjust to it. So you know, this is, oh, sorry, how do I undo? Undo, oh, sorry, Command U, no, sorry, Control Z. Yeah, so this way, I would say you have saved a few clicks, you know, these kind of things. And when you do need to extract the area of the, let's say, finished floors, you know that this part won't be counted even if you have modeled it like this. And so these are just the little things, but I think it's good to know. And if you are more, you know, getting more into this, it helps you to leverage the priority and be able to model and update things more efficiently. Okay. So let me just quickly check the question. Sorry if I go into silence, but that's because I need to read. Okay. Thanks, Sandor, for answering questions. I see some of them. So curtain wall, there was some question on the curtain wall. Didn't really talk about curtain wall. Maybe I'll get back to your curtain wall question in oh, I see now. Curtain walls. The corner condition does not conform to conventional modeling. Okay, I'm not really gonna talk about curtain wall today because it's also a beast on itself. But if I have time, maybe we can discuss. But I'll see. But just a quick maybe information is you can just start checking on the settings of the curtain wall. Feel free to reset the scheme, and also there's this button here called edit. Okay, and you can, apart from the scheme itself, you can edit the items individually. So maybe that would help. But yeah, I'm not really talking about curtain walls today. So I'll see if I have time later on to show you, okay? But there's also a lot of information online regarding curtain wall as well. So don't worry, we can share with you the materials later, okay? So that's about it for the floors finishes. And I think that was just a quick question about showing the hatches, right? You wanna indicate the materiality of this, because like I show on the other, you want to maybe show horizontal lines for this and the tiles for that. So now this is, let me see, yeah, it doesn't have a cover fill, so that's why it's not really showing any hatches. You can use you can activate the cover fill, and depending on the material itself that we use, you can check this option. I don't know how it will look, but you can check to use fill from surface. Let's see how it will look. Click OK. Okay, it wasn't set properly, so maybe I don't use it. But what this was doing is that if the material itself also has a hatch associated with it, it will show that. So again, it's about controlling your managing your attributes. But anyways, you can definitely customize your cover fill. So maybe we just pick I don't know, this size maybe will be enough, okay? And sorry, the foreground is the same as the background, so I don't see things. But if I just, yeah, so you see this is the preview of it. So the foreground color, background color, okay. And then you can start seeing kind of hatches for it. Okay. And similarly for the carpets and for the tiles, you just use the slab tool, but just a different building material or composite, which is the here, and the carpets. Okay, tiles and carpets. And I think, yeah, actually you see here my tiles and slab does already have the tile size included. So this is how you can. So this is also yeah, how you can show the kind of the hatch sizes in your drawing. Okay, and actually I show you quickly the carpets as well. Let's say I want to do it in this room, the carpet on top of the slab, so something like this. Okay. It doesn't have a cover. Oh, it does have a cover fill, but maybe of the scale it's not showing. But yeah, at least it's a different one, so you can differentiate that this is different material than the wood floor. And in 3D, if I hide the curtain wall, you can start seeing kind of the layering of these elements, because this is being built at this I believe is the 0, yeah, the 0 of the project, and the carpet is placed slightly just above the finished floor. So yeah. Okay. All right. I'm afraid I will need to move on to the next one, which is the furniture. Okay. I guess it's quite important to be able to place furniture in your project. And let's see, we can show the next worksheet, which is the furniture. Right click, show as trace reference. So this is just very simply what I want to show or what I want you guys to model in the project, but feel free to add more because it's quite fun. But basically, if you go to the object tool, okay, you open up the favorite. I only have one, but if you double click it, I just wanted to show you the amount of built-in furniture slash appliances slash equipment that is available. Well, sorry, not now, but in the, because this project, I'm only showing you the ones that I have in the project, but maybe I should open a new file actually, just so you guys, while we load that new custom file. And ArchiCAD provides already a lot of furniture that are customizable in a sense. For example, if I look at this desk table, it's not just this, okay? They create options for you to either have a rounded corner or maybe it's slightly rotated, and you can even adjust kind of the, dimensions of certain things if you need to. So as a start, sorry, my mic is this okay? So, if I just want to do some really quick, estimation of space, of layouts, and these tools are really great. You can just basically do some basic dimensions and then start placing your layout away. And the fact that you're able to adjust them it's really great. So for example, let's say I selected this workstation, okay, and this is the style that I want. This is the size that I want. I can check the next tab, which, for example, you can even pick the style of chairs if you want, the leg style. These objects don't only have, a 2D view, a section/elevation view, also has a 3D view. So you already get, 3 views from just one object, which is amazing. So you don't need to redraw things again. Some of these objects provide very detailed settings that you can select if that's what you wanna, dictate as well. So, but each object is different, okay? The settings is different. What's available is slightly different. So just feel free to explore them, spend your time explore them, but it will give you a pretty good result, I would say, okay, of what you want. So if I just click OK, before I click OK. So before I click OK, if I go back to the plan view, because I'm placing these in the plan view, right? Before I click OK, I just want to determine which point is the point that I place. Like once I click here, what's that point referring to? So this is the point that is the placement point. So I just click OK. Then I can place it, let's say, on this corner. Okay. Now it's rotated, but no worries. We can always rotate it with the command I just showed you guys, Control Command E. So I click Escape. I select the tool again. So Command E. Again, center of rotation, start point. That's it. Now this time I want to make a copy while rotating. So I can use Command Shift E, or it's called Rotate a Copy, or I'm not sure in Windows what it is again, but use this one. So Edit, Move, Rotate a Copy. Again, click, start, and if you don't want to be, you don't trust yourself using the mouse, you can also always just type in the angle. So if you do want to type in the angle, you see this blue box here. When you move around, it shows a blue box. You just need to press Tab, then it will jump to the first line of the blue box. And ArchiCAD counts the angle from this way. So the positive is going this way, the negative goes this way. So if I want to rotate here, it's actually -90. So I just need to get Tab, -90, and click Enter. Okay. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't be doing a rotation. That was silly, but anyways, I should do a mirror. Okay. Anyways, this is one way of editing your layouts. The other way is make edit mirror a copy. Sorry, yeah, mirror a copy instead of rotate. So mirror a copy. Click on the dot. Give it the mirroring axis, and click. And this is how you mirror the table. Okay. So let's just check it in 3D, how it looks like. See, everything is in place already. The chair and all that stuff. And if I just select these two, Shift, again, make a copy. Here, all right. So you can see that your layout is starting to get in shape. And sometimes there are things that you just can't, feel or see in 2D. So being able to already experience the space as 3D is really, really great. Like it already helps you, understand if this is too tight or what is this gap, like. So just quickly showing you also I just open a new file just to show you all the available objects. So yeah, these are not included in the PLA, but if you open a new project, you will see in the ArchiCAD library, basic library, all these kind of appliances, accessories, beds, and each of these out-of-the-box objects already provide quite an amount of customization, like parametrically. So if you update like the bed size, maybe it's a smaller bed, I don't know, something like this, just for reference. It will automatically also update into the N3D. Okay, so for example, if I go back to my table, then I realize the product is actually smaller. I just need to select all of them, go to the settings and say either maybe it's shorter, maybe it's less depth or more depth on this side, maybe not 300, but anyways, the idea is that. And click OK, and all of them will update immediately as well as in the 3D. Okay. And the good thing is also you don't necessarily need to only work in 2D. Once you have them in 3D, you can actually move them around as well. So same command, like Command D, you can start moving things around. So you're not only restricted to designing things in 2D, you can even do things in 3D, and maybe this is how you prefer to design, to feel the space, okay? And with objects, there's these hotspot as well. Some of the parameters that I just showed you can also be edited visually in 3D. So if you do need to, you can do that. Okay? Of course, it will be reflected in 2D as well. If I turn off the trace, okay, so I think it's super handy. Okay, so I think it's very simple, no, with the objects. So feel free to explore. And similarly, the lights will also be placed. Well, lights are also similarly. It's similar to objects. It's kind of an object with some additional functionality. So let me show you also how to place lights. But this time, I'm actually not going to use the ground floor anymore because we have the ceiling plans or electrical plans set up. So if I go to the electrical plan, just to talk about more, the different views, is you see, well, we have placed something already for you, but you see now on the electrical plan, the furniture originally on the floor plan looks a bit different. Like it looks a bit more detailed, but on the electrical plan, it's kind of simplified. It's the same object, but just displayed in a lower level of detail. And this is controlled by what we call model view option. Model view option, where in this particular version of this MVO, we have set that all objects, where is the objects? Sorry for my phone. All the objects, sorry, where's the objects? Library part, yeah. I have set all the library parts to be shown in kind of a low level of detail. So because again, on an electrical plan, probably not important to know exactly how the furniture look like, but you just kind of need to know, the outline, the shape, or where it ends, where it starts. So this will be helpful to not give too much information or overload the information of this drawing, but still be able to use the same object. So this is the electrical plan. Similarly to the ceiling plan now, you don't see any of the furniture. Now there's two reasons. Maybe because is that in the layer combination, I have turned off the furniture in for the ceiling plans because you don't need to show them. And also I have set it so that the cutting plane, like the range that the plane that this floor plan is shown, is only the upper part of the space. So that would be set in the floor plan cut plane settings. So I'm only showing things that, are maybe taller than 2.5 meters. So any of these cuts are above 2.5. So maybe either the desk is not cut, or or anything that is lower, one cut is lower than that, then it won't be shown. So this is the reason of using different views for different the different purpose. This is still the same wall that we have, okay, but just kind of represented differently due to the view settings. So we won't need to be, if we move this wall, we won't need to be moving the wall again on the electrical plan and move it on the other plans. So that's a great thing about using BIM or ArchiCAD for interior design, okay? Okay, let me just have a drink of one water. Sorry, one sip of water. Okay. Let me check the time. I think I'm a bit over now. Yes, I'm quite over with time. So I just quickly show you the lamps. It's similar to placing objects, and then we'll take a break, okay? Sorry for running a bit late. So the last thing I want to show before the break is placing lights. Again, if we just show go to the ceiling plan and show the ceiling plan, show as trace reference. Now this is just the 5 lamps that I want to place. And where can I find the lamps? On the left, it's this. Okay, a light lamp, and this is the only favorite I have given you guys. Double click, and I just want to show you the settings of it. If you go to Command T or this icon, you will see you can set lighting parameters in, for example, the intensity or the color of the lights, because if you do the renderings in ArchiCAD, they can use this kind of parameter to calculate the lights. Or if you later need to actually create a schedule to include this kind of information, you can also extract it directly from this setting, so you don't have to do it separately. And then the next setting could be the type of how it's mounted. If you go check the 3D, could be suspended, or maybe it's just attached, or it's recessed. So all of these would have, a different representation, but it's all possible with the ArchiCAD objects. You can adjust the length, the size, etc., how the fixture style it looks like. So all these kind of settings. So feel free to explore when you have time. And now, sorry, I just want to place them. So if you go here and you see I have a dot here, I just want to make sure my lights is placed on this point. So I just click on this. This is the placement point, insertion point. Click OK. And I just need to doot, 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 doot. Okay. Press escape. And right click, show all in 3D. Now you see, yeah, okay. So because my floor plan, as I said, I didn't have all the elements shown in that plan. That's why it didn't show the floor, but that's okay. I just wanted to show you that this is the lights that we have just placed. And again, similar to the other objects, they do have some hotspot that you can adjust, and you can move around, change the size, and feel free to, if you need more, use the multiply, things like that. So these are the other lamps that we have placed. Feel free to just click and check out the settings. And if we go back to the floor plan, then this is how it will look like. And I go back to the ground floor plan, you don't see them because it's a ground floor plan. Or it's a floor plan, okay? Okay, so for the second session, basically, I just want to show you a little bit more detail on especially the bar, this bar that we have. If I go to the model, okay, I just wanted to show you white session. Okay, so I have shown you, basic furniture, how to place it. This is actually also out of the box object that we just customized to create this kind of furniture arrangement. But also there's this countertop actually, and actually this is related to one of the questions I saw also about carpentry, I believe. This this kitchen counter, actually we built it pieces by pieces, almost to be we built it in a way that we can show details like this. Okay, so which detail sheet was it? Yeah, okay, was this one. Okay, so because we know that we have to be showing some details similar to this, so that's why we decided to build our custom counter in ArchiCAD. But apart from doing this, you can actually start with already some built-in, out of the box objects that ArchiCAD provide. For example, this one is coming from an object called cabinet base, okay? And you can see these are kind of the parameters that provide you. For example, the base, kind of this offset, you could customize. The height of the cabinet, of course. Even sometimes some of the, I think, panel thicknesses, or how many shelves you need, etc. Of course, the materials, and maybe if you need to show a counter on it or not, and yeah, overhangs, the door style. Okay, so if you're interested, feel free to open these and check the settings to see if it applies to you. I would say in the case of interior project, also depending on your scope, if it's more for more for kind of roughing the dimension of these things, or just about measuring, reserving space for this and that, in that case, it would be enough, I think. For example, you need to just dictate the height, for example, or know the width, and maybe just to demonstrate kind of the materiality as a beginning concept, I think it's quite enough. And the fact that it's so quick to edit, it really helps. But if you do start to need to provide that kind of details that I have just shown, or even more, you will have to start kind of building it yourself, because it also gives you more control of exactly how you want your design to be. These are great, but the parameters that it provides, it's how it was created by ArchiCAD. So if you need to customize further smaller things, you may not be able to. So usually my advice is you can start with their built-in-the-box objects and use it to just, estimate the space that you need or give a super quick idea, a concept of your design. Do tests, do options with them. But of course, once you need to do details, you will have to build it yourself. But you can build it with a lot of the tools that are, in a sense, parametric. So why don't we look into this table in particular and deconstruct how it was built? So maybe, I'm sure you guys will be doing much better details, much better looking details for your projects. This is a very, very basic one, but I just wanted to show you the basic workflow. So for details in ArchiCAD, usually we will use a thing called the detail marker. How it is done is basically you would start with maybe a section, okay, because this is a section, okay? So coming from a section, you would then place a detail marker on that. So for example, let me see, the section that this marker came from was, I think it was section 3. Yes. So this is a section cutting through the entire space. And this actually should also be in one of the layouts that I have. But basically, all these is coming from the model, okay? So the cabinet that I just showed you, and even the fridge that's behind. So this is a cut model from a cut section from the model. And as I told you, we have already built it piece by pieces. I'll show you, I'll deconstruct it with you later. But basically from a section, we will place a detail marker, okay? Detail marker is this one. So it will give you a call out automatically, but it will also create a detail. So a detail would be, if you want to look for the viewpoint, is this one. Okay, it's under here, detail. And if you open up the detail like D01, then you will see that on the left is what it recreated. So don't ignore the right side first. This will exactly be what you will see, okay? It will take already the type of material that was used to build it, like the wood, hardwood, and if it was set up properly, you will get the cut hatch of this wood, hardwood. Obviously, this is wrong, but you will get that cut hatch. You will get the cut hatch of, let's say, the board, the vertical board, and you will get everything, but in kind of a 2D way. So if you click on these, actually these are like 2D fills, 2D lines, etc. So it's a bit different than sections, where if you go to the section, yeah, these, you can still select them as their original like element state, which is the wall. Okay, it will show you that it's a wall, it's a slab, etc. So it's a bit different, that it will kind of convert all these elements into fills and lines. And the good thing for this is that then you can start doing details in the sense almost like drafting, okay? Because, for example, if I don't know, if for some reason you need to maybe add a gap between here, okay? You can edit it and move it, okay? And it will show, and you can draw a line. Let's say you draw a line and draw a line, da-da-da. Okay, let's say this is what you want, okay? Now, this can be done on just this 2D sheet, okay? It's not gonna affect the actual model. That's because actually a lot of the times we need to balance out what we model versus what we need to show. There are really, really tiny details that sometimes it's better off you just kind of draw it in 2D rather than spending the time to create a 2 mm or 1 mm gap if you need in the 3D model. It will just maybe cost more, it's more time consuming, or it's just that if you need to adjust something, it just doesn't make sense to do that. So in that sense, you can make use of the 2D the detail marker tool, where it will give you already 90%. If you built, right? If you already built the counter top, you can use it already as a base for your detail, and just start doing mini adjustments to just give more information. So perhaps like we can almost say that as long as you build kind of the basic framework, or as much as these kind of detail, you can model it, but you can say 90% is done in the model, and further 10% is just minimum 2D drafting, just to give a bit more detail. Like maybe you need to add some cross sections, kind of give more definition in terms of the interface or how they intersect with each other. Another detail that I can show you is this one. No, not this one. Yeah, for example, this detail, if I open the source view, it's not really about like, this is what we have built, okay, the basic stuff. But if you do need to start putting in screws and all that stuff, some support, some profiles, you could model it if you really need to, or if you maybe really need to show this in a 3D view. But if not, maybe sometimes it's better you just slightly adjust, modify the 2D from here. So you will need to, depending on your need, to decide for yourself how much you model and how much you draft. But at least I would say usually the proportion is about 90% is built in a model, and 10% for you just do this kind of drafting adjustments. Okay. So very quickly, I'll just show you, I'm just gonna start, just kind of deconstruct and tell you what these tools are used. So for the countertop, we just use the slab, okay, with just a wood material. And for these horizontal support, okay, we just use beams with just a very simple cross section. Again, you can adjust the size if you need to. That's why we use beams. And the next layer, the next layer is also slab. And to create that kind of this kind of gap, we use I think we use a complex profile. That is a wall. So if I open up if I open this, I used, it's just a very simple profile, this piece. The reference line is here, and then I just use a wall. So this was the shape of the profile. Good thing is if I do this, then I can feel free to adjust, that gap is supposed to be, it can be bigger, smaller. And once I update this profile, then all the gaps will be updated as well. Okay, and then again, a slab. And if you keep going, let me make a cut, a 3D. If you want to do like a 3D cut instead of hiding things, you can use this. This is called a 3D cutaway. If you activate it, you will see that on the left side, there is a scissor. You click on it, and then it will kind of just start cutting up the model. So it will also help you see things in the 3D section. So to create that detail, we put some horizontal support that was built with beams again, different levels. For the vertical support, the leg-ish thing, we use a composite wall, which is actually the same as that wall that we have. But anyways, so this a similar concept with a gap and 2 panels. And verticals, we just use the columns again. And for this kind of detail, again, we use a complex profile for the skirting and a little bit of shadow gap. Again, it is here. If I edit the profile, you will see that this is the profile. So if somehow I want a bigger gap, save it. It will be updated. Now, this is updated, okay? But how about my detail? If I go to my detail, I believe it was the first detail. I think it was detail. Yeah, this gap is still the old one. So this is just a tip for using the marker tool. It doesn't reflect immediately the change because you will need to rebuild the drawing. And when you rebuild it, it will update it to the latest state. But if you already did start, changing like I did here, changing some of the fills, maybe adjusting things, then the change will revert. So it's not going to keep that change. It will just update it back to what it was. So usually what I do is that once I created first a marker, a detail, I'll copy it to the side and do my actual adjustments on the side, just so when you rebuild things, it's not gonna, undo what I did. So yeah, so if you see now I have adjusted something here. If I did not copy to the side, it will be rebuilt once I update. So let's say if I just create rebuild from source view, I think it should rebuild. If not, did it rebuild? Sorry, I think I need to rebuild from here. Da, da, da. Or it's already rebuilt or not? I don't know. I think it is. Well, anyways, this thing, this is always already. Oh, it's already made a drawing. Okay, sorry. Then I guess this won't work. But okay, but anyways, so the idea is just that basically you would create the sections detail marker from the model, and then you are able to adjust the fills as you want. It's more for minute adjustments. Okay. All right. Let me just quickly see if there is any burning questions. Seems to not have any burning questions. So I will just talk about the last part, which is scheduling and documentation. And I just want to show, so one last thing about, remember how we did, we placed the lights and the furniture, right? So apart from representing them in 2D, 3D elevations and stuff, the smart part of this workflow is that you can create schedules already from these objects. So for example, I have a example of a lighting schedule here. Of course, this what information you need. Maybe it's not what you usually do, but the idea is that this interactive schedules in ArchiCAD will find the items and then help you create a schedule. So how schedules work, if you go to the the navigator, I just want to show you schedules are under here. Okay, and how schedule works basically is that it will first, this is our lighting schedule, okay? It relies on two things. One is setting up criteria, so telling ArchiCAD, I mean, in the file, while you have so many different elements, you need to tell ArchiCAD to filter out things that you want to know about. So in this sense, my first filter is I need to set that the element type is lamps. I only want to know about lamps. And let's say I only want to know about lamps that are on this layer. So any other lamps that is on other layers, no, it's not going to show me in this schedule. I only want lamps that is shown on this layer to be shown. Then the second one is to set up the fields. So in fields, you are telling ArchiCAD, oh, I want to know about the ID, let's say quantity, height, width, etc. of these elements. Okay, once you have filtered these elements, I want to know these information about them. So these are the fields that you need to include. You can add more, but just search and let's say, yeah, you can add more and you can add more fields to add more, basically add more columns into this schedule. But now this is what we want to know, and just click OK, and this is how you will find your schedule. So it's live. Basically, what I mean is, so see now I have, because this is yeah, it's based on element ID and all my lights are in different element ID, that's fine. But imagine if I want to delete this, okay? I can delete from the model and then it will remove. Or because it's an interactive schedule, I can actually select this and say show in 3D if it is in 3D. Yes, okay. I can uncut because I don't know, I don't want to code. So let me do this again. If I go here, so show it in 3D, it will show me exactly where this light is. So there's no doubt that your information is coming from your model. It's not like a manual thing. It's coming from your model. Then if let's say I want to delete it, okay, it's gone. We only have 4 lamps left. Go back to the schedule and it's updated. There's no more of that lamp. So that makes sure that your schedule is always up to date to the changes in your model. Okay, so apart from updating quantities and even size, like if I do change the size of this lamp, it will display here. It can also do some math. For example, if I start putting in, I don't know if this is required for a project, but if I start putting prices of different items, it can actually, I think, well, not here now. I think I need to rebuild. Or not. Does it do math? Yes, it does do math. Okay, so it will give you the sum. If somehow this is also part of your job to estimate the cost or something like that, or if you just want to know it for yourself, then you can do this. All right. And these are all properties or parameters coming directly from the objects. So you will be able to extract these information and show it in a very organized way. You don't need to refer to another Excel sheet again. So this is schedule. So not just lighting, of course, you can also do it for furniture. Okay, just set up a similar schedule, but a different filtering mechanism. Element type is object, and the layer is in furnishings. Then you will get another furniture schedule. I think this one is the one. Yes, so see, we have 2 tables actually because they are different size. So sorry, we don't have 2 tables, we have 4 tables, okay? 3 of this weird size and 1 of this weird size. So it's also smart enough to, if you merge items, it will smart enough to show you the unique items. So I have 3 of this type, 1 of this. I have 1 notebook somehow and 1 chair. Okay. So lastly, before the Q&A session, you just check for quick burning questions. Okay, so there's one question in the schedule or about editing annotations. Okay, I'll get to them in a bit. Using a yes, question about the setting renovation filter. Yes, if you do use renovation filters and you want to just filter out the items that is on certain renovation filter, then you renovation status, then you just need to go here, use renovation status. So the items that is existing or that is new to be counted, only to count those. So again, it's part of the filtering criteria. Okay. I see more advanced questions, which is great, but I just want to show one more thing, which is exporting stuff for documentation, and then we will get to those questions, okay? So now that we have everything, well, I've shown you part of it, but now that we have, let's say, finish our project, design our stuff, how do we export them in a efficient way in CAD, etc., in 3D and take it to some other places to do renderings? Basically, you can use one thing called the organizer. I think it's super useful. So because we already created views for you guys, you don't need to create any views. But if you do need to start creating views from scratch, the process would be that. So you see two windows here, one on the left, on the right. First, you need to select, like, say, the floor that you want to be creating the views for. So that's the ground floor view, okay? And you need to say that, okay, so for this floor, I want to use which layer combination, what scale it should be in, what pen set it should be using, what MVO, what graphic override, etc. it should be using. Then you can, in the view map, usually I would myself create a proper folder just for organization's sake, like floor plan option 1, I don't know, okay, something like that. And I just need to click Save View, then it will create this view, this floor view with these settings in this folder. Okay. Next, of course, well, why use organizer is because maybe you want to create, you have 4 floors or you have four, I don't know, 4 levels that you want to export with all these field settings, then you can just quickly save view and it will create all the views with the same settings for you in one go. Then once you created the view, on the left side, we can move to the view map, and the right side, sorry, view map, right side to the layout map. And this is when we create, where we can create new sheets, create, and start dumping in the drawings that we want. So let's say I can put this in. If I want to put the ground floor in, it's a different size sheet, but it's okay, just for demonstration purpose. Okay, so I already put one, and I just need to keep creating them and placing one by one on each. Then lastly, once I have all these layouts done, I just need to, in the publisher, create, one folder to contain all of these PDF. And then I can just select the format that they should be in, like PDF, then just publish them. Or no, if I need to actually export them in DWG, then I kind of duplicate, the publisher set, but referring to the same layout, same sheets, and just assign the proper format, which is the DWG. And then that's it. Set up the translator, and that's it. You can export DWGs. Okay, And to export, if you do want to do renders outside of ArchiCAD, you can go to the 3D model, okay, show all. And let's say this is our final model, okay? I just need to go to File, Save As. And you will already find that in the format, there are a lot of formats that you can export the 3D file in. For example, SketchUp, okay, Rhino. Maybe I think sometimes also Wavefront, some of these special ones that might use Wavefront for rendering. So select the one that you need and just click save, and that's it. You can export these model in that format. And lastly, I just want to show you a BIMX export. What is BIMX? If you open up the file BIMX that I shared with you, if you double click, this is a BIMX file of the final computer model. You will see that I have included the package, okay, and also the model. And basically, you do not need an ArchiCAD license to open this. Okay, anyone, as long as they downloaded the app, they can open your model. So they can already kind of, learn about your design, even feel the space, how it's like. And what's amazing is that because your drawings are coming from your model, you can actually have a kind of a linkage between your drawings and your model. So let's say this is a floor plan, right? So I want to say, oh, there's an elevation. Let's see what it's like. So I can open this drawing and it will take you directly to that view. And so not just 2D drawings, you can actually also see things in 3D. So let me just go back to this floor plan. And let's say I want to show this, but in 3D. Here, it will overlay the drawing and show exactly where this is cut. So it's very helpful if you want to check exactly, where this drawing is coming from. You can hide this. Oh, sorry, you can hide the cut, or you can create a cut if you want. I think you can also hide the stop. You can hide the drawing and move the cut yourself. So again, come on, yeah. So you can really understand your space much better. And regarding the lighting schedules, as I have shown you, the functionality of showing things in the model also is preserved in the BIMX because things comes directly from the BIMX, from the model. You can click on, let's say, I want to know about where these lights are. I just click on it and it will highlight it for you. So in fact, it's also quite a good way to just audit your model, check your schedules if they are correct or not. Okay. Want to know about this light? It's this one here. All right. So I think that's all I want to talk about today. I know it might be too fast, definitely too fast for beginners. Might be a bit slow for advanced user. But I hope at least I could show something in between and give you something new if you're advanced users. and to show those who are not using ArchiCAD yet the capability of using it for interior design. I'm also sure that I didn't show everything. There might be weird things that you don't do the way I would do, but at least, again, the idea is that you would be open to being more creative with the tools offered in ArchiCAD and use them and use it in an efficient way that helps with your workflow. You should try to do things as smart as possible. And I hope that ArchiCAD would help you design your projects better, save you more time. So now I'm gonna check the questions that have not yet been answered yet. And I'll try to get to them. And we have about 13 minutes. So let's see. And also if you have any comments, let me know. But anyways, there will be a survey in the end. Okay, so let me see. Okay, so I remember there was a question about saving favorites already. Super easy. Basically, let's say, maybe let me go back to a floor plan. If this weird table is what I want to be using for the for the project, so I have some custom edits and all that stuff. Okay, so what I need to do is just select this object. So open the settings, and I just need to go open up the favorites palette. Okay, so while still having these settings set up, navigate to the folder that you want to save to, or just directly to the favorites folder, and just click here. So this is the star new favorite. Click, give it a name, new desk, and that's it. It will be saved. And click OK. And the next time you use it, it will be exactly this setting. Okay. There's a question. I think there is a question regarding the floor finishes hatch not shown because of graphics override. I don't see the issue here also because graphic override is currently not applied, at least to this slab. It's only applied to the cut fields. Okay. Well, what graphic override is, to start off, graphic override basically, apart from the standard representation of things, graphic overrides would do a graphical representation override based on these rules. So if I take off, let's say if I say no override for these drawings at all, this is how it looks like by default, apart from the pen set, like because I'm using a black pen set, so everything's black. But because I have this graphic override on, which was white model, I think. What it does is, you see now the walls are cut in dark gray. What it does is that you see there are two rules in this graphic override, okay? One rule is that, if I click on the details, again, it's relying on like a filtering mechanism. Basically, everything, okay, element type is all type, everything that does not have a classification of furnishing or interior furnishing wood, then their cut fill will be black. This is a cut fill. Cut fill will be black, and it should also affect their fill, foreground, background, etc. So essentially, whatever elements that fit this criteria, they will apply this override. So this is helpful, for example, well, this right now is currently applied because we want to have like a dark cut hatch, but it could also be useful on an information level. For example, if I want to highlight furniture that is of this size to all be red, then I can create a rule saying, oh, element type is furniture, and the furniture is maybe width is 200 by 200, height by 300, etc. And to highlight them all in red, then once this is applied, whatever elements is fitting that criteria will be highlighted. So this is how the graphic override will work. So you are not changing the actual object to red. You're just kind of overriding the representation based on the filtering criteria. So maybe you have one drawing that is to highlight just all the furniture, another drawing just to highlight maybe the floors or something. So that's how you could use the graphic override. But what I'm saying here is it's not really, I mean, the graphic override rule is not really actually affecting the floors. So like no rules is applied because the floors doesn't fit in this criteria, so it's not really being affected. But anyways, this is just wanted to show you guys also like what graphic override is and how it could be used. Okay. And I also see what other question? Okay, so yeah, maybe I'll take 2 to 3 more questions. Oh yeah, I didn't show you how to create BIMX, is it? Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so I'll show you the BIMX, I think, and just. Okay, so I'll take two more questions. One is on the BIMX and a few more on the schedules, okay? So BIMX, yes, it's true. I did not show you how to create the BIMX. I'm sorry, but seems there's an interest, so that's great. So I'm gonna show you in detail now. So basically, I'm gonna start from scratch, but you can also check what I have saved in this folder in the publisher folder, okay? The publisher folder, if you open BIMX export, you will see I have included basically two things. One is the actual layouts, so all these layouts that I have. The other is the 3D model. You can also, I think you can also not include drawings, but basically you will at least need to have one 3D view saved, inputted in this folder. So for example, because you can also save multiple 3D views with different layer settings. But let's say I have this 3D view that contains all the elements I want to show in my BIMX. Then what I need to do, I prefer to again do this in the organizer. Sorry, so organizer is here, show organizer. Okay. And on the left should be my view map because I want to add that 3D model view. So I would go to, let me create a new one, okay? I would create like a BIMX export, okay? This is my folder for publisher set. Now I need to just add the shortcut. It will bring it into the BIMX export. So I have one full model. Okay, it looks a bit weird now, the icon, but don't worry. And I also want to just add my layouts so that it can do this thing where it shows the drawings and also links it to the model. So I need a set of drawings, which I can just add this whole folder into the BIMX. So if I open again, yeah, I'll see both. So this is basically the two things I need to create that BIMX I have. And then, but still, you see why is it in PDF format. So now I have to go back to this folder, publisher set, and set it as BIMX format. So if you go to the publishing properties, select that publisher set, go to the publishing properties. This is when you can say, I think you need to first create, publishing method is save files, create single file, and the format is BIMX hypermodel. BIMX hypermodel. Then just create a name like a BIMX cool model, yada yada. Point to the path that you want to save it to, maybe the desktop, something like that. Okay. Info set, for now, I think you can keep it as undefined. Maybe later you have special, because also, again, you have so many data in your project. Do you want to include all of them or not? You can set up specific schedules to only include certain data in your BIMX model. Now just keep it undefined. You can define it later. You can take a look at later and what info set exactly do, but we can just put it undefined for now. And that's it. You just click OK. Now if you double click the publisher set, the icon will turn into this BIMX because it knows that it will be published in the BIMX format. And that's it. You need two things, the layouts and the 3D model view that you want to show. And you just then need to just publish it. And then it will create one file that is the BIMX file. Okay. And you have to download to view it. It's not in ArchiCAD. Okay. You don't open this with ArchiCAD. It's a separate app. So you download I can show you the link later, but download the computer on the desktop. There's a desktop viewer. You can go to the on iPad, the tablets like the Play Store, and iTunes also have tablet version. On your phone, you can download an app to view this model. So it's not just in ArchiCAD. Okay, so this is it. I hope it answered your questions about how to create BIMX. And then I saw a second question, and the last question, unfortunately, is about schedules. Oh, I think it's answered already. Okay, but not the annotation one. I can I think I can show you. Let me see. I think it's about annotation. The question was about if you can annotate in a schedule. I believe so. If you click on the preview, you see there's an annotate button. You just need to click open it, and you will see it will give you a 3D preview. And I believe you can annotate, let's say, give dimensions, although a bit weird. I'm not sure if you can give like, yeah, okay, it does. Cool. Because yeah, okay. Anyways, it can give you dimensions. If it's a 3D axle view, you can put labels. Okay, labels, again, it's very, it's another thing, but labels is not just label. You can put auto text that reads directly the information from the is it giving me labels? Oh, I don't know why now it's not working. Okay, it should be able to do labels. because it's available. I don't know why. Okay, anyways, you should be able to do so. And you can draw lines, I think, if you want. If somehow you need to do, okay, highlight, and just click OK. And here you go. You see your tiny little annotation. You can adjust the columns, of course, if you need to make it bigger. And you can even fix different scales of these things. So yes, you can annotate in your schedules, no issue. Although you may need to annotate one by one. Unfortunately, it's not that smart. But sometimes it also allows you to, maybe not on these kind of preview, but if you add like a 2D preview, 2D view, 2D plan view instead, not a 3D axonometry. You see on the plan view, and I think elevation view, it will do you can activate an automatic dimension. So it's a bit difficult to read now, but I think if you change the scale of the schedule as well, it should look better. Yeah. So if you change, so the scale also affects the schedules, but yeah, as you can see, you can actually also, this is done automatically, so you can give dimensions as well. Okay, these are the 2D representation of your elements of these ArchiCAD objects. Okay. All right, so I think that's about it from me. Sorry if I missed some of your questions, but also because I need to give time to Sandor to present a bit just about the Graphisoft Learn. And I'm sure you will find your answers in that by learning a bit more. So yeah, Sandor, are you here?
Okay, so I really don't want to take too much of your time. Just want to give a very quick introduction to Graphisoft Learn if you don't know about it yet. So you can see that in case of many of the answers, I was referring to Graphisoft Learn courses as well. So what is this actually? Basically, there are three main aspects what we try to create with Graphisoft Learn. So Graphisoft Learn is our own learning program that is providing you with learning paths, courses, and certifications. And basically, there are three goals. So one thing is that we want to provide a way to you that you find your own preference when learning. So whether it's self-paced, you want to find a time for yourself, you want to watch online videos, then you can find those courses there as well. But if you want to sign up to a trainer-led course, something like what we had today, then it is also possible. On the other hand, we would like to make sure that there is a globally recognized certification system. So many partners of ours provided trainings and certifications, but they were all different quality and you couldn't really compare to them. There are different courses and different achievements. So these are not really comparable, and that's why we created our own Graphisoft certification system. And the third aspect is that we want to provide the opportunity for you to reach out to peers, provide a platform that can also serve as a forum as well, and there is an opportunity for networking as well. So what we created is actually we rethought how courses should work. So normally what you have is that there's a basic course, there's an advanced course. But essentially, the industry is changing, and there are different types of roles in a BIM-enabled practice. So we would like to target these practices, these activities that you do in your everyday work when you're using BIM. So basically, it means that there are different bundles created, different learning paths created, which take you from one point to the other. And there are these three main learning paths that you can see on the screen. The model authoring bundle is basically making you capable of doing the modeling, the documentation, the scheduling, presenting the project, and being familiar with the collaborative environment, so ArchiCAD teamwork. In case of the model management bundle, you get the knowledge that is required to coordinate the model and manage the project delivery. And in case of an office management bundle, there are a lot of materials which are related to BIM standards, office level BIM practices, and those people and management processes which you require at the BIM enabled practice. So these are the bundles, and the best thing is that after completing these courses, these bundles, you can get certifications as BIM authors, BIM coordinators, or BIM managers as well. There's a fourth one that is not mentioned here, the very basic one, which is the ArchiCAD BIM user. So basically, this provides a baseline certification, for all our users, which can clearly be compared to each other. So there are a lot of materials. You can get started at learn.graphisoft.com. Probably since this was put on the screen, we have already added some new courses as well. But there is mostly, I think what is most relevant is the BIM Author program and the BIM Author certification. So you will find that there's a huge package of foundation courses, which are mostly the self-paced videos, and the trainer-led courses and learning paths, which are the advanced ones. So I put in to the chat, there is a getting started with interior design and creating engaging drawings with ArchiCAD. That's one of the foundation learning paths that you can complete as a self-paced training as well. So feel free to check that. Apart from this, there was another one that I linked, which was about the curtain walls. Actually, that's quite a few-year-old training. That was when we renewed the curtain wall in ArchiCAD 22. So all the new features, like how to create a door, curtain wall door, how to set up the scheme, all these things about the curtain wall, you can find there. It's one of the upgrade trainings from the older days. So, okay, that's all great, but how to access? Let's get to the practical part of it. I think not many of you may have gone to the Learn portal based on the questions. So I have some good news for you, because probably when you opened it up, you saw that, okay, there are some prices there for the courses. So what is the accessibility option here? If you know, and if you're a customer of Graphisoft, then you know that we have our services and benefits program, which is called Graphisoft Forward. If you have an ArchiCAD Collaborate or an ArchiCAD subscription through our web shop or the global Graphisoft store, then this Graphisoft Forward benefit is automatically included. So what does that mean? There are a lot of productivity tools included. Some of you asked, like, how can we create objects? These are the ones also included here. For example, Paramo for the parametric objects, Library Part Maker as well. There is more space for your BIMX models as well, which you have just seen in the very end. So you can host those BIMX models and share with your clients. And there are a lot of promotions ongoing. Previously, we had a Twinmotion promotion. If you had ArchiCAD, you could get a free perpetual Twinmotion license as well. Nowadays, we have the cross promotion with Enscape. If you have ArchiCAD, then and you're on Forward, then you can get 1 year free subscription of Enscape. But this is just the extra. Or actually, why I'm showing this to you is because Graphisoft Learn Access is also part of the benefits. So what you need to do and check that you are part of the Graphisoft ID company of your company. So basically, if you have an ArchiCAD license, then it is connected to the Graphisoft ID that you're using. If it is connected, then we will know that you're on forward. So if you just have a Graphisoft ID, that's not enough on its own, but we have to make sure that the Graphisoft ID is connected with your license. If you have a soft license, then probably you were already invited to the company pool, and then everyone who is in the company pool can enjoy these benefits. So I would like to highlight this. Let me just give it with numbers. If you have 2 licenses in your office on forward, but you have 5 people working in the office, if all 5 are part of the Graphisoft ID company account, then all 5 will have the benefits. So it's regardless of the number of licenses you have. It provides a great opportunity for development, starting small, and while you're learning ArchiCAD hands-on, the others can start learning ArchiCAD through the courses as well. So long story short, if you are part of the Graphisoft ID company and we can verify that you have forward, you are on forward, you are eligible for the benefits. And in this case, you will be able to use coupons for the paid courses. And in many cases, you can get full discount, 50% discount, 20% discount on the course prices. Okay, so that's the reason why I just wanted to show you this forward part. So I invite you really just to take a look at this, learn.graphisoft.com, see if you can apply the coupons, the forward coupon. If not, then reach out to us and we'll fix the account. Probably it is just your account setup that is not correctly set up. You might not be part of the Graphisoft ID company. Okay, but if you're sure that you are on forward and you still cannot apply the coupon, just reach out to us. You can get great discount there. And again, regardless of the number of licenses you have, everyone in the company will have access to these benefits. So I won't take much more of your time. If you have questions later on, then feel free to reach out to us. And otherwise, enjoy using ArchiCAD and happy learning. So thanks for being here today.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sandor. Thank you, Sibyl. I hope you enjoyed the class and find it useful, helpful. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. Okay, have a great weekend and we'll see you next time.